Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nic unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
Good morning, Coxie.
I was wondering how long the dead air was going to last for.
I thought, will I jump in? Will I let you do it? I'm not sure. I can't decide. And then it just ended up all quiet.
People are going to be scratching their heads thinking that cannot be Warwick and Nicole. There's not unnecessary waffle right from the first step. You'll have to cut that bit out.
Yeah. No, I'm going to leave it in just for fun. There you go, listeners. I left it in. It's weird doing... It's weird doing something that's pre-recorded. I know people talk about live television and radio being really challenging, and they have that fancy delay on radio. I don't know if they still do that.
I believe they do.
So that they've got the chance to press the red button.
Stop.
Don't let whatever that person said actually get out into the car stereo.
It is very nerve-wracking doing live stuff.
You've done a bit of live media, haven't you?
I have, and it is
You're
really scary.
Fancy famous person.
No, I'm not famous. Fancy, yes.
Come on, I reckon, and maybe this is just, I'm fanboying on you here, Coxie.
That's very kind of you, Warwick.
Well, you've been on Sky News.
I was.
Sky News?
Yes.
Or Sky Television?
Sky News.
Sky News. Wow. That's like, that means that you've made it in the media world, doesn't it?
I don't know. But it was fun. Although very nerve-wracking, incredibly nerve-wracking.
So why is it so nerve-wracking?
Because it is live and it's hard to think and talk all at the same time. And it probably goes back to the interviewer's skills. If they're a really good interviewer, you just feel relaxed pretty quickly, I suppose. But if they're not such a great interviewer, you're trying to think about what it is that they're actually trying to say or get out of you. And that can be a little challenging to be thinking and speaking and not tripping over words and looking in the right spot because you don't, at least in my experience, the live television, I was in a studio on my own. They were in Melbourne. I was in Brisbane. So you're just looking into a box and you can't actually see anyone. You just see black.
Oh, wow.
It's really weird.
That'd be a bit off-putting, I think.
It is off-putting. And you've got the builder was standing out through the glass wall watching and there was all the staff were standing. That
wouldn't be distracting at all.
No, they're all out there watching and you're not allowed to look at anyone, but you can see them out of your peripheral vision and it was challenging.
That's funny. I'm surprised you let him go, actually. I'm picturing him like pulling stupid faces at you, trying to throw you off your game.
I think he knew
that's
how
just
nervous
me.
I was. Yes, that would have been you.
That's what I would have been doing.
I think he knew how nervous I was and it was I was shitting myself just quietly. I was really packing it. But anyway.
And how did it go though, Coxie? How did it go?
Really well, of course.
You crushed it.
I had a great interviewing team. It was easy to answer the questions. The questions led me to where they needed me to be instead of sort of throwing me under the bus, which I've been thrown under the bus a few times. You're pretty good at throwing me under the bus.
Oh, no, I was too slow. I took a sneaky sip of my coffee then. Because we're recording this one actually on a Friday morning for a Friday episode, which is unusual. And you caught me out because I would never throw you under the bus, Nicole. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not. Oh, of course
don't know what you're talking about. And I never do that in our drawing board sessions.
No, you never do that. Yes, you do all the time.
But you perform so well. You're one of these people that I did it to you the other day in a pretty big meeting actually.
You did do it. I was grateful for that though, because if you had let me think about it, I absolutely would have overthought it and muffed the whole thing up.
Stuffed it up?
Muffed it. Better than...
You and I have a different usage for that word. So,
yes, we do.
But I want to Chuck Norris into something here.
Yeah, I can feel it coming.
I saw a Chuck Norris pop its head up like a whack-a-mole, and I thought I'd grab it. And it was around overthinking things, Coxie.
I'm the queen of overthinking.
And I'm going to reference a drawing board session that we had during the week.
This could go pear-shaped.
Well, I'm not going to say any names.
I know exactly who you're talking about. So will the board.
I don't think this person listens to the podcast anyway.
Do the others on the board listen to this podcast?
Yes, some of them do.
They're all going to know exactly what we're talking
G'day
about.
to all of you who know who we're talking about. But and it wasn't just one person actually. There's I think there's a few people in that particular board that have a tendency to overthink things a little bit.
I don't think they're alone. If we're quite frank.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, not to just make people feel bad, although we haven't mentioned any names, so nobody should be feeling bad. And if they take offense, well, they can take that and just go have fun with it. But, the whole thing, I take offense. Well, where are you taking it?
Home.
I don't understand.
I'm sitting it for a while.
And I'm going to wallow in it and I'm going to be offended. I don't know. I don't get offended very often. I can't remember the last time I was offended. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole, Coxie. Let's go back to overthinking things. You were overthinking my offended comments just then.
I was putting that pause so that I didn't
the pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Overthinking things. Man, it gets in the way of action.
It does, doesn't
it not,
it?
Listeners?
It really
listeners,
does.
Do you ever overthink things? And if you're listening to this going, oh, crap, yeah, I'm an overthinker. If you're an overthinker, we want to overthinkers unite. Come and talk to us, overthinkers, because we have a lot of them around in trade business land.
I kind of feel like it comes with the territory of owning a trade business.
It seems to, doesn't it?
It does.
I don't know what it is about trades or trade businesses. I think it comes perhaps from being in the trades, and whether it's a cultural thing or the way people are mentored into their trade. It's just one of those cycles, one of those things that gets perpetuated. But I would say we see a disproportionate number of overthinkers in trade businesses. And it can be debilitating, Coxie.
Well, it is. It, as you already referenced, it prevents action. You can't make change without action. And we all need a bit of change. Nobody's got it right just yet.
No. And I just, like, there was a particular session this week in one of our drawing boards, as I was saying, where I don't feel at a loss very often with things. Probably the main areas where I feel a bit lost and incompetent. I'm going to call it incompetent, Coxie.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably things to do with navigating my whole, ex-wife blended family stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I find that particularly tricky.
I wish I could tell you that gets better, but I can't answer that one for you.
Thanks for absolutely shattering my Friday.
No hope there for you whatsoever.
Shattered my Friday. I haven't dropped an F-bomb yet, and I think I won't because it'll probably just go downhill from there. But
yes.
But I was just sitting there listening to this person really struggle to get out of that analysis paralysis and bringing up all of these reasons why it wouldn't work and all the problems and the challenges. And I had the good fortune to be able to sit back in that session because a few of the other board members were really driving, which is awesome to see when that happens. I love it when those sessions really get picked up and sort of run by the board members and not by you and I. And that's really, to me, that's a sign of a great board.
Mm-hmm.
And a great bunch of members. But I just thought, dude, come on. Just let it go, man. Just breathe out. And breathe. It's like, you just got to let that shit go, mate. and get on with it, because I think all of us could overthink a whole bunch of stuff anytime we choose.
Okay,
It's just so easy to do.
I've been up since 3 a.m. overthinking our overthinker's problem, and I still can't come up with a solution to what the problem actually is.
Have you really been bending your brain to
have.
this member's issue?
Because I feel that we really need to help this member get to a point in which they either confront whatever the real issue is, or they make a decision and make some change. And so I have been tossing and turning and thinking and overthinking like I do, trying to come up with what the actual reason is, and I can't find it. I'm stuck, and that's because I don't think there is a reason.
No.
It's just fear of change.
I would probably agree. I mean, and this is the challenge, right? For us as mentors and coaches and facilitators and teachers, sometimes I think it's really hard for us to find out what the real issue is with people when they don't know themselves. And we can generally get to the core of something. We had an epic chat with a trade desk member yesterday afternoon, actually.
We did. It was fantastic.
Who took us up on our, should I say it out loud, the offer thing?
You can. Go ahead.
I don't know if we were telling too many people about what we're doing here.
We told trade desk members, and we got so damn busy, I don't know how we're going to fit everyone in, but we will. That's what we do.
So Coxie came up with this stupid idea that, that if you joined the trade desk and you're a member of the trade desk, even if it's during your free trial, that we threw it out there, particularly coming up to the end of financial year, that if you booked a session with us before June 30, we would do a free 15-minute double team consult with you and get you unstuck. And generally, we're pretty shit at keeping to time, so people tend to get more than the 15 minutes out of us. But we had an epic session with someone yesterday afternoon for one of those get unstuck 15-minute jobbies. And we got to, essentially, there was two core issues for this business and for this particular person in the business. But I don't feel like we've necessarily cut to the nerve with the other person we've been talking about. And that can be really challenging for us, but I think it's more challenging for the individual when they're not used to actually digging that deep.
Most definitely. And it's really confronting to be stuck in that overwhelm that overthinking brings in all these overs, over.
Over. You're just over it, aren't you, Cox?
I am over it.
How many coffees have you had this morning, Nicole?
I've only had two. I really need to remedy the situation.
Well, I'm only halfway through my second, so you're ahead of me. I need
Oh, there you
I
are.
need to crank up the volume a bit on the coffee consumption. It is Friday after all.
It is.
And then I'll counter the caffeine with I'm actually going to have a bevy tonight.
Oh, look out. What are you having?
I've made a loose decision that I'm going to have another gin and tonic because I've been really enjoying them on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I still can't come at the tonic.
Oh, love a bit of tonic water. I'm drinking that fancy, expensive, wanky Fever Tree stuff.
Yes, that sounds like
Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah. This is for a guy that doesn't drink.
Yeah. But that's the point. You can make it nice and a treat.
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyway, back to Stuckman. So
Stuckman.
Stuckman is stuck.
Can we create a theme song and just secretly play it in the background at the next board meeting?
No, Stuckman. There you go. I just ruined everybody's Friday. So our friend is a bit stuck, and I think in observing in that session, I think Stuckman probably knows what the real issue might be.
Yes.
And I think Stuckman is probably avoiding it.
Yes.
Because of that overthinking as well. So I want to hear from you, listeners. Come on, get involved. Don't just sit there and listen. Don't be a voyeur with your ears. That's just creepy. What are your tips for getting unstuck from that overthinking? How do you get out of overthinking? Help me and Coxie help Stuckman. There you go.
That's a good way to put it.
here's your
suspect
opportunity.
those board members that listen will be on the phone in any minute now.
I had a I'll call him a good mate. I had a good mate years ago who was in my life for a season. And we don't talk to each other anymore, and we didn't have a falling out or anything. It's just that, sometimes those relationships, you just kind of move on.
You do, yep.
Without realising it, and it doesn't feel yucky. It just sort of happens.
Yep.
And so he was a good mate for a few years, and I was particularly stuck in an area of my life, and he had been such a patient, understanding, compassionate man to a point. And it reached the point where I think he was so sick of hearing me talk about all the reasons why I was stuck and why I would stay stuck that eventually he threatened me with physical violence using a pineapple.
I did mention pineapple during said board session this week.
And he said some fairly interesting... He had some interesting ways of using said pineapple to help me become unstuck in my life. And it just, it didn't feel very nice at the time. Not that we ever actually went and purchased a pineapple, but I kind of felt like he didn't really care because he was just being frustrated and expressing his, I don't know, almost anger at me for not just making the damn change, making the decision, just doing the thing. Like, it was like enough already was. Just do the thing that you keep talking around and about and avoiding. It's like, we both know what you're talking about here. Make a decision. Or ... And it was the ... that involved the pineapple. So I did. It took me probably a few weeks, and, a couple of things happened which sort of gave me a bit more reason to do something about said stuckness. But I became unstuck.
I guess that's a very long-winded way of saying sometimes our job
is to threaten people with pineapples.
And I might have yesterday. But you know what? I feel certain there is a change coming, finally, for this particular person, because the change is really necessary, and overthinking can prevent necessary action. And in this case, it's really necessary action, not just for the health of the business, but the health of the business owner. And so sometimes that means we've got to poke people in the chest, and it's not comfortable. I might have felt a little, I don't like this. But
and that's
got to be done.
Yeah. And I think that is a key point, Coxie. And for those of you listening as well, if you know someone who's stuck, oftentimes they need us to have the courage to confront them on it and allow them to squirm and feel uncomfortable and stutter and, beat around the bush on the thing. And it's like you've cornered somebody.
You have, but you're also safe. If you're a friend or a trusted advisor or somebody that they talk to regularly, you're a safe space. So it's okay to corner somebody nicely.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we need more people who have the courage to pin down our friends, our family members, our business partners, whoever it is, and actually pin them down on stuff, and for everybody to be uncomfortable, because that's where awesome change happens, is in that discomfort, in that yucky stuckness.
It's unfortunately true. Change is always uncomfortable, particularly the good change. It's really hard.
No wonder people avoid change. It sucks. Change is crappy.
It's not easy.
But the other side is freaking awesome. So, listeners, I really want to hear from you. What are your tips for getting other people unstuck? You don't have to talk about yourself, because that would just be weird. But blame other people, point the finger at everybody else around you. But I'd love to hear what your tips or methods or experiences are on getting other people unstuck. Have you had a situation where, you've helped a friend or a business colleague or a team member or a family member or somebody just move through that yucky, sticky spot and come out the other side of it stronger and going, oh my gosh, why did I take so long to make that change or make that decision? I'd love to hear what your experience has been, and I'm sure Coxie does too.
Of course.
And she's right here, so she can speak for herself.
Yeah, I can.
So if you'd like to share that, there's a number of ways you can do it. You could send us a message via the Facebook page, which is publicly accessible. You could go join the group, Tradies in Business on Facebook. We'll let you in if you're a legit tradie. It's a wanker-free zone. You could join the trade desk for free and have a little private conversation with us in there. You could send us an email. You could drop a web form via the website. And while you're at the website, check out all the other free stuff. There's so many ways you can get in touch with Coxie and I, and none of them involve our phone numbers. So there you go.
Although if you look hard, you'll find our phone numbers anyway.
It's not very private.
No.
But tell us what you think. You could leave your tips in an iTunes review. There you go.
I think we've had a new review.
Oh, we did. I should read it out.
You should, because I can't access iTunes. It's up to you. But
yeah, I locked you out.
Reported to have had a new review.
I did see it there, and I'm bringing it up right now live. See, this is where the 10-second delay on live radio would have been really handy, because we could have just pressed the button. Anyway, here it is. So guess what? It's another 5 stars. Thank you, Kerry at Zinc. Best podcast around. Hey, Waz and Nic, I finally found the review option. It can be a bit tricky, and have been dying to leave you a review. Love listening, especially to your now daily episodes, and make it my business to be ready with my coffee each morning. Wow, that's commitment. I'm impressed.
That's awesome.
Thanks for being a friendly voice during the Rona times. Cheers, Kerry. Thank you, Kerry, for your review. We really appreciate it. You are now on the long, long list of 5 people who are in the running for some merchandise, or 3 months sponsored membership at the Trade Desk, thanks to one of our very generous Trade Desk members, is going to sponsor somebody. Instead of sponsoring a child, they're going to sponsor a tradie.
Yeah, that could go really poor, but yep.
Yeah, there we go. So leave us a review on iTunes. Doesn't have to be 5 stars. You don't have to suck up to us. You'll go in the running anyway. So, tell us about your stuck fixes. I'd love to hear it.
Thanks, Kerry, for the review. I always enjoy our reviews, mostly because they're positive. It seems that nobody will tell us that we're...
We haven't had any bad feedback yet.
Not yet. There's always another day.
Constructive feedback about some of our other work, but
we did get some constructive feedback on our podcast early on that we waffled too much.
Yes.
So we made a whole day for waffling.
So with that, stuff yous all. Have a great Friday. We'll be back tomorrow with another daily TradieRonaCast.
Yay.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.